Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TLT Talks. We have a very exciting show for you today. On is going to be one of my favorite people, one of our favorite clients. He's a developer. He's been in the game for a long time. He's going to be on any second now. And so we've done multiple projects with this person, some rentals, some sales. We just successfully broke some records in Fort Greene on a $7 million sellout. We are now having just launched. And I thought, what better way to talk about the trends of the market? What better way to talk about this new development product itself than to hear from him? And so, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Eugene Khody. How goes it, sir?
Hey, good. How are you?
Very, very good. So I've just introduced you, the principal and the CEO of Balanced Living Development. You've been doing this we've been at this a long time now, almost 15 years.
It's been a while.
Almost 15 years. And so you're associated with projects in Brooklyn, in Queens. We're looking at things in the city. Very exciting, Mr. Khody. Give us a fun fact. They know that you're a developer. They know the business side of things. But give us a fun fact that for anyone that may have not watched the show before or have seen you on before, give us a very quick bio or
Well,
history into how you got into this whole thing.
you said fun fact. So
Fun
fun
fact.
fact is I joined the 35 to 55 basketball league in Demarest, New Jersey, and we won the championship last
Let's
year.
go. Let's go. We only work with winners around here. Let's go. Let's go. I love
That's
it.
it.
I love it.
This was the second year the team was in the league, and we won. So
Love it.
there we
Love
go.
it. Winning in business, winning in life. That's what's up. Let's go, Gene. Let's go, Gene.
Thank God.
All right. So tell us, how'd you get into development? What's your background? Just a quick bio.
We've been down this road before. It started in finance. It just so happened after the crash of 08, 09, there was an opportunity. Got in, and the rest is
Yeah.
history.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, do you know developers are not all the same? They come in a myriad of different styles, and so some developers are very bottom line oriented. That's not wrong. That's not right. But just some developers are really entrepreneurial. They're very bottom line oriented, and some developers are more from passion, from feel, from empathy towards the buyer. They're artists. I want to build something magical. And I'd say you lean more towards the right. It's not that you don't care about making money. I mean, of course you do. But I love your passion for delivering a product that buyers can appreciate, whether it be for investment, for the home, for whatever. So in that sense, it is awesome to work with you because by the time we start showing the apartments, some of the work is done for us because you build a really great product. So let's talk about trends. Let's talk about trends. So post-pandemic, it feels like we've returned to some sort of norm. We had the 21, 22 coming out of the pandemic, which was insane. Then 23, 24 were sort of slower and readjusting. And everyone's trying to find the new norm. And it feels like whatever it is today, this is for the foreseeable future what it's going to be. So what do you see? What do you see from any shifts or things the same? What are you seeing?
I think people got over the pandemic. People aren't scared anymore. People are out and they're looking to do deals, to buy, to sell, to develop. That's great. I want to see other people do well because, if others do better, that means that there's space for everybody else to do well.
Right.
Um, I see other developers doing bigger deals, maybe doing smaller deals or more of them. So it all depends, right? And I think everybody has their own niche and what they're looking to do. But I think over the last few years, markets have settled. The sellers have realized that due to the rates, they had to adjust. Land prices have adjusted as well into, I think a more realistic space. Uh, some people did unfortunately get hurt with
Yeah.
if they purchased land and they weren't aware, nobody was aware that the rates are going to go to where they went,
Yeah.
and they're still up there for construction loans and obviously hard money loans. And, even banks are at prime plus one and a quarter, depends on who you
Right.
are and what you're able to negotiate. But basically, the rates are still fairly high. So, people who unfortunately bought it, before the word COVID existed, or through COVID, before the rates went up, the rates were lower, and people who were counting on those rates to stay that way obviously are not doing as great today. But I think people have adjusted. They realize that if they want to do business, if they want to transact, they have to lower the pricing to match sort of where we want to be with the rates and how we're looking at deals now. Because deals did get expensive, more
Yeah.
expensive due to the interest rate rising. So due to that, something has to get less expensive because the pricing hasn't gone up that much to cover. So the land has adjusted, and I think sellers have adjusted of land, or maybe uh, um, assets that are looking to be turned over into residential or into condos, or need to get um, redone, rehab, refurbished, right, or built from ground up. Those are the assets that had to get adjusted in regards to pricing. I think they have adjusted, and now we're seeing people flow into the market. I think there's more deals being done, more things are being built, and that's a positive as well. The tax abatement came back, so that's
Mhm.
also a big deal. So for those that are looking to build rentals, that was a
Yeah.
big deal that needed to also happen.
Yeah, for sure. And the buyer needs have shifted. We recently, you and I discussed a statistic. There's some sentiment of getting back into the office. So companies like JP Morgan, companies like Compass, they're back 5 days a week, full time in the office. Actually, Jamie Dimon, he got into some trouble recently about, someone that shared a recording of his, but overall, he's never been coy about sharing that the workplace is a think tank. You'll be sitting here, somebody's sitting there, someone overhear a conversation, boom, $1 billion idea gets born. You just can't do that work from home. Work from home, it's impossible or virtually impossible, or at least wildly difficult to build culture. Like all relationships are formed in between meetings. Oh, did you see Game of Thrones? Did you see the Nick game? Did you see that movie? That's where relationships are formed and
Absolutely.
culture is born. And I think the statistic was something like 9% of 9% of employees are back in the office 5 days a week, which leaves everybody else. And so part of what you and I talk about with every new development is how can we consider that people are now working from home, they're spending more time at home. What do we need to think about in the way of the way we're laying things out? What do we need to think about in the way of home office or a nook for an office? What are we thinking about in the way of maybe amenity space? Because the truth is 80 or 90% of people are not full-time working in New York
Hmm.
City rather. So that's been kind of cool to talk through as well.
For sure, and we've made those adjustments in the projects that we've sold in the past throughout the last couple of years, and also the project that we just launched as well. We have certain bedrooms that are maybe a little bit smaller for either a child or an office for the people who are looking for that second bedroom. We've actually made the units a little smaller, the two bedrooms more affordable to that single guy, girl, or a starter family who need, let's say, their own obviously bedroom and the space, but they also need like a smaller maybe room for a
Right,
possible child in the future, or today an office. So we've done
right,
that. We've also put in amenity spaces like the roof decks and the outdoor gardens. One of the projects that I'm launching right now, we have, an owner's lounge and an outdoor garden for the owners. So, they could obviously work inside, outside, and they have that ability to, just be able to be home or to go downstairs, have a
right,
meeting, and then go back upstairs.
right.
So these are all large considerations that we're making for people who are still working from
Yeah,
home.
yeah, amazing. Well, let's talk about that. So we just finished a successful sellout in Fort Greene. It was about just around between 7 and 8 million. The sellout was set a couple records. Why do you think that project went? So, like, what about that was it for other developers that are looking for success stories or things to model? What about that project do you think led to such a successful sellout?
So there's a few things. One is obviously
Right,
location, right? Not too many new construction buildings in Fort Greene.
right.
It's mostly rehabilitations and so on and so forth. So I think we had something that's unusual, and I think there was a definite need in that area for that space to be built, right? Um, of course, you got to have your team, right? And you know, I've been blessed, and I've said this before. We've done this a few times.
Yeah.
I've been blessed to have you and your team on board. But in all reality, forget about, let's say, people that don't have a Litvak team. They need to get a team that does the marketing, the reach, the research, the preparation, you know, the videos, the photos, the staging, all of that
Yeah.
is such a big part of putting it all together.
That's right.
Where, you know, I know that I have a team, and you know, obviously, like I said, we've done this a few times, so there's a relationship there. And like I said before, I hope everybody is successful, you know, in New York, and that's going to be their story in the future, that they get a team, that they get a
Right.
person, that they get people that they can, you know, have a relationship with, where, you know, they deliver for them.
Right.
You know, I didn't have to deal with the stager. The stager was brought to me by the Litvak team. We interviewed 3 or 4 different stagers, negotiated one against the other with price, and got the staging the
Right.
right way, you know. And then you guys do the pictures, and you guys do the videos. You know, some people can't understand or imagine spaces,
Yeah.
but then they see the Litvak team post a in the unit video, live video of people communicating and having breakfast and doing their makeup in the bathroom or doing whatever. You know, that's a big deal. You know, or they're walking with their dog around all the amenities of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That shows them where they are, what's going on, and they almost feel like they're in the
Yeah.
space. All of these things are very important. And of course, you mentioned, you know, that we always try to build the best product. The company is called Balanced
Right.
Living. We're constantly trying to put our best foot forward, put the best finishes in. We're trying to think of what I would want to see in that
Right.
space. What I like this floor, what I like this kitchen, what I like these appliances, you know, and we're always trying to do the best that we can, and you know, putting our best foot forward to create the best living space for the people who are buying,
Yeah.
renting, living in the spaces. So I think these 3 things, you know, obviously um, bring together a successful project, you know. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much kind of the equation.
Yeah. Spot on. And thank you, obviously, for your kind words. Um, but yeah, I think all that's right. I think like what makes us successful regularly, just for anyone that's out there, that's for any developers out there that are working with their team, Gene calls us before he buys the land. So we're having all these conversations. We're auditing pricing, we're auditing floor plans, we're auditing what's possible even before he buys the land. Sometimes, you know, with some of our other developers that are newer relationships, they're bringing us in when the product's already built, and that's fine. I mean, we can go from there, but not having the input earlier on hurts the developer. But where it's successful is exactly that, is, you know, where you are so open to feedback and you are so thoughtful of the consumer. So when we say you should do this or that, you're not quoting me your margins. You're figuring out how to make it work. And 9 out of 10 times, whatever we think the consumer should get, you're finding a way to make it happen. So we're starting early on, and then, you know, the reason this is so successful is on a development front. Gene is so thoughtful of the consumer while also thoughtful about the economics of the project, and so always builds a quality product. And where I think the misses for a lot of teams that market product is, like, it's not rocket science to do photography, it's not rocket science to do a video, but everything in life should start with the outcome and then get reverse engineered from there. So all of our conversations, anybody watching, all of our conversations, my team and Gene's team, is with thought of the end user, whether it's an investor. Some projects are more prone for investors, some projects are more prone for an end user that's going to actually live there. All of our conversations are, what's the space they would enjoy, what's the best thing to build, what are the best finishes, what are the most congruent with the neighborhood. And then that's what goes into all of our marketing. We just try to emulate so people can watch a photo, watch a video, and just feel. There's a connection to the feeling of being in the space, and then by the time they come to visit the property, it's already like, oh yeah, let's do it, or whatever. And so Fort Greene was a really good example of that. We had lots of conversations early on. We adjusted the floor plans like 4 different times. There is, you know, listings there are quite scarce, and so there's an inventory issue there. But also the product was really great, and the combination of the two like really led to some great success. And so on to the next. That one's it's a trophy on the wall right next to your basketball championship. Let's talk the Bennett. Let's talk the Bennett. So we've just launched together this new condominium in Astoria. It is a 16-unit condo building. There's between 1 to 3 bedrooms. The 1 bedrooms are starting at 699. The 3 bedrooms are starting at around 1.6. And so I thought it'd be really awesome for you to have an opportunity to talk about why, what about this project to a consumer. There's a couple of developments that are competing in the neighborhood. So I thought it'd be great for the consumers to hear directly from you what about this place is special or what sets it apart. So when you were thinking of this project, walk us through where your thoughts were.
Okay, well, location, right? We said was one of the keys. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Astoria is a fantastic location, great history. It's, I think, 2.5 blocks away from the water. You're getting a fully rebuilt waterfront in Astoria. They're finishing it up now. It's going to be beautiful. There's going to be a water taxi going into Manhattan. You're also not too far away from the train, and you're about 15, 20 minutes away from Midtown. So location-wise, it's amazing. As well, a lot of people are getting priced out of Long Island City,
Same as
where
Williamsburg. Yeah, for
same
sure.
as Williamsburg, yeah. So definitely this neighborhood, if you just come out of the building and you look around, you have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 new constructions going up in different phases of construction. I
Yeah.
have a neighbor on our block around the corner who's starting a brand new, I think, 8, 9 story, beautiful development. I think it's going to be a high-end rental building, or I'm not sure, or maybe condos, or whatever they're going to decide to do. But basically, location-wise, it's amazing. Also, you know, why this building, like we spoke about before, we were looking at a lot of different things, how to fit the right sizing of apartments, the right unit mixes, and so on. We have a duplex here, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
We
Double
have
height
some
ceilings is gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We have some beautiful penthouses with rooftops, private, amazing views of Manhattan. We have, some smaller one bedrooms, a bit larger one bedrooms. We have some 2 and 3 bedrooms with a lot of outdoor spaces, a lot of balcony spaces. Everybody has a little bit of space, to go outside, get some air, and so on. We have a gym in the building, which is amazing. You guys can go work out and enjoy themselves. We have parking spaces for sale. That's also really really big in New
Yeah.
York City. So we thought about everybody, and of course the people who are working from home, and people who need a little bit more space. So there are those units, as we discussed earlier, where maybe it's a smaller bedroom, a second
Right.
bedroom, not as large of a unit, but they have that space to be able to work from home or have a baby or whatever the case is, right? And of course, everything to do with finishes. Our mantra is end user in
Mhm.
mind, right? Like I
Mhm.
said, balanced living. Like, obviously more than anybody else would, as we were finishing up the building, your team said, I think we should do a little bit better here. So of course, what did we do? We went
Yeah.
and we changed
Yeah.
all of the
For sure.
finishes, from X to 3 times X. And that's the honest
Right.
truth. We went there, we did it, we spent the money, and I think the building came out really nice. I'm not saying this because it's my building. I mean, anybody will
Mhm.
stop by and take a look.
Mhm. Yeah.
I personally think we put our heart and soul in it. You
Yeah.
know, the all of the cabinetry in the kitchens, custom built. We used every inch of the space so people have that to enjoy. I know how expensive, real estate is in New York, so we want to make sure that they can enjoy every corner, every little inch. We didn't do a backsplash out of tile. We did it out of stone.
Yeah.
So it's nice and beautiful. It's one piece. You don't really see that. You see that in higher end buildings, maybe in Manhattan or whatever the case is. We did it here. The appliances are all, I think, really well appointed. We have built-in fridges. We have beautiful stoves. Everything is done to the top shelf. If you look at the bathrooms, starting from the vanities and all of the little closets, everything is custom built. You're not going to find that anywhere. I had it custom built and brought in.
Right.
The growy shower finishes, even something as silly as, the shower glass. everybody puts in 24 inches. And to me personally, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'1".
Mhm.
You know, I play, like you said, I play basketball, right? So I like my space. So we made sure that the shower is wide enough. We also made sure that the shower glass isn't 24 inches, but it's 36 inches, to giving that, 10 to 12 more inches on the shower glass so the water doesn't spill if it's a big guy taking a shower. So, I always measure everything on myself. Am I gonna like this apartment? Am I gonna like this unit? Do I want a beautiful entrance with some great lighting design and a brick facade and a beautiful canopy over, so I don't get wet and so on and so forth. So all of these things played a
Yeah.
part in, what we're doing and how we're putting the product out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think, and lastly, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just finish up with this. I'm big on being hot or cold. So we put in a Panasonic central air system, made sure that there is enough ventilation in every room and that everything circulates and that, people are getting a good feel
yeah.
when they're sleeping or eating or just hanging out in their apartment. That was very important to me as well. So we upgraded that as well. And, that's pretty much it. I think these are the key things that make our project special.
Yeah, you've done your job. Now it's about time for me to do mine. No, yeah, and it's exactly everyone. We had a Compass office meeting there, so we had probably 50 to 70 brokers walk through the space. We had feedback from all of them. It's hot. We've got 2 units in contract already, and all the feedback thus far has been felt that this developer put their heart and soul into it because of all the things you said. I mean, the finishes are great. The space feels good. It's light. It's airy. I mean, all of it. All of it. I thought that all of what you said was really well said, and it's a testament to you that you are, as a developer, willing to make changes, spend a little extra money. All in all. I mean, look, nobody's Mother Teresa. Everyone's got to make money. So no one's. This is not a non-for-profit condo, but also there's some people that would say, no way, I'm not spending another extra dollar, and that's just not your style. So it makes it for a great partnership, but also to the end users out there, it makes it for a brand. And I think there's some names out there, like when you hear a Mickey Naftali, when you hear Larry Silverstein, when you hear some of these names, you automatically associate them with a great product.
Absolutely.
And I have no doubt, my friend, that someday people are going to be saying Gene Khody, and automatically that means great product, amazing, thought of the consumer, yada yada. For the people that know you, they already think that, and so I imagine that will only continue to grow. Mate, what a pleasure. Well, I'm really excited to launch this product. We're already seeing it's in contract. What else makes this different, for anybody that might be watching? We have just implemented a 2% seller's concession. We said to Gene, the rates aren't moving as fast as we would have liked, and so let's help buyers with a concession. So there's something called a 2-1 buy down, where you can buy the rate down 2% for the first year. There's a cost to that of about 2%. And so Gene has very graciously agreed to do that for the next 2 contracts. So if you're looking for a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom and you want to see a great quality development, just know that you can buy down to a rate of about 4.5% right now, ballpark there. We are actively showing, so feel free to reach out with any questions or for a showing. Gene, anything you want to leave our viewers with? We have an eclectic, over 100,000 people are going to see this. Any final thoughts about any of the things we discussed today?
Grateful and thankful for all the opportunities that I've gotten. Thank you to everyone who has purchased in the past. I hope you guys are all happy with what you got. And we have a great building, that just came on the market. Please come see it for yourselves. Don't just take my word for it. And hopefully, you guys will buy the units and be very happy with them.
Awesome.
That's it.
Gene, thank you. Have a great day, my brother.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye.
Thank you for having me. Take care. Bye.